Hi guys, TFSL TV, hope you can hear me. I'll speak up as loud as I can, but I'm next to a busy road, so there's a fair bit of traffic. I'm going to do a little, I'm having a stab at the predictions. I've gone through all the 4 divisions for Season 2, and it's really difficult, because in Season 1 I felt we didn't have as many strong managers as we do now, and there was a few teams that were a bit inactive and not really doing much, and some of the divisions weren't very competitive. You cannot say that about Season 2. TFSL is a game world transformed, and there's many reasons why, but I've gone through every single division and I think it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath in every single division. Starting off in Division 4, really difficult. I've got to try and be subjective. I mean, I'm in it and I've got to be realistic. I've been tipped as the title favourite by Gino, which obviously pleased me. I don't think I'm going to win the league, and it hadn't really been my target to win the league. We came 19th last season and I've hauled over the team. But my general philosophy at Dundee, I'm trying to add value and I'm trying to develop the club, and that's actually taking precedent over results. So by the fact that we've got some good players, we'll be up there. I hope so anyway. If we're not, I'm doing something wrong. But I think other teams are going to be more aggressive. And what I mean by that is there are teams that are going to be stacked with 86s, 87s, 88s. Yes, I've got some, but as soon as their TB's up, I'm selling them. So I'm constantly selling. So this is what I've gone for. I'll just do the top 6 for each division. For me, the champions of Division 4 are going to be Kilmarnock under Hammer. Don't believe a word of this that he comes out with, that he's got a plan and he's building youth, this, that and the other. Hammer wants to win, and I think it's a smokescreen. I think he's calling our bluff. I've checked Hammer's team and I see 88s, 87s, 86s. I do see their transfer listed, and it might be that Kilmarnock are going down a route of youth, but I've never seen Hammer go down a route of youth, other than when it absolutely backfired spectacularly. I think Hammer's best when he's going for titles and when he's strong, and he's on it, and there's no one more active than Hammer. So I think there's a bit of gamesmanship going on there with Hammer. I think Hammer will be first place. A manager I rate in terms of winning and results wise is Pablo Maggio. I don't like his methods, but each to their own. He just goes out and it's quite crude. He goes out and he buys the highest rated players. There's no magic, there's no special mystery to what Pablo does, but it is highly effective. If he had more resources at his disposal, I would put Matt Pablo at first, but I think he's got slightly one hand tied behind his back. I'm not sure how much he can do, but he's a brilliant manager and brilliant for the game world. So I'm going to go for Pablo in second place. But this is where it gets really difficult. I'm going to stick myself in the playoffs. I've got to back myself, and I would look stupid if I didn't say at least the playoffs. So I'll put Dundee in there. Cork City beat me 6-1 last night in a friendly. Billy's team look really high rated now. They were kind of about 8th, 9th on the periphery last year, but it looks like Billy's had a bit of investment and he's just gone in, he's going for it. Cork City, I actually was mulling over Cork or Wrexham for a top 2. So I'm going Cork. Rotherham United have just come down, and I think Warren is a good manager. I think last season does not reflect Warren at all. I don't know what he was playing at. I don't know why he did that. I don't think he was taking the game well seriously, to be honest. But if he does take it seriously, he's actually one of the very best managers. He's a really good manager. But that was a weird, daft, strange thing he did last season. However, he's got a club, they've got a big stadium, they've got money, they've got a solid team, not a spectacular team. But what that means is Warren will have opportunities to strengthen, which is a very key aspect to consider. So it's all very well factoring in the teams at the start of the season and what their teams are, but teams change a lot, as we all know, from the start of the season to the middle of the season and to the end of the season. And I expect Warren and Rotherham to improve as we go on, so I'm going to stick them in the playoffs. Motherwell really impressed me. They're a big side for Division 4. In my opinion, Motherwell should have been getting promotion last year under the very first manager, Matt. They've had a change. Paul's come in, he's done well. He's got a couple of really good loans in from Forest. Big club. again, Motherwell will have the ability to change halfway through the season. So Cork, Rotherham, Motherwell, Dundee, but that is really difficult because I'm leaving out the likes of Scunthorpe under LA Revolution. He's a really good manager. Glenavon are strong. Burton under Andrew Flint went on a horrendous run in the second half of the season, but they've got a good team coming along. He's got a very good crop of risers coming. He's doing a good thing there. I just don't think they're ready for promotion. Ross County and Falkirk are going to be awkward. Chris Stapps at Dundalk will be awkward, and Crusaders now have 5 or 6 86s. I've got to be honest, I don't like what Rene's doing at Crusaders, and I'm surprised. I did that at Crusaders at the start. We were winning the league, but they're not big enough to sustain those kind of wages. And I hope Rene knows what he's doing, because I kind of shipped out all the dead wood to get a new sort of younger side in for Crusaders, because I think that's the best way to manage them. I just don't think you can go into a team like that and pack them out with oldies. I'm surprised Rene's gone down that route. Let's see if he stops at 4 or 5 that he's got in and continues with the youth. But honestly, they don't have the money to supplement the big wages. And it's when you're going down this route, if you get promotion, if you buy a load of old high-rated players, it's Russian roulette. It's fine if you get promotion and you get the investment. If you don't get promotion, you're in a world of trouble, and the club can spiral into all sorts. So that it's a risk, and for some of the bigger clubs, it's a risk they can swallow. But Crusaders need handling with TLC. Anyway, Rene's the manager. I'm not. It's none of my business. And good luck to Rene. I will be looking out for Crusaders results anyway, as you do when it's your old team. But they'll certainly be in the top half of the table with that side. Sorry if I've missed out lots of teams. I can't go through all 20 teams. Division 3 was really, really tough. And just for anyone watching this, I have not even glanced at Gino's betting to do this. This is all off my own back. Obviously, I looked at what Gino did previously. I read it all with interest. But so if any of my predictions match up with his, that's just coincidence. Division 3, for champions, I'm going Barnsley. They've got the team, they've got the manager. I was critical of Madassar last season. I didn't think he was particularly active, to be honest. I think he'll admit that. I think he has admitted that. If he changes his, if he's on it, I think he's going to do very well, and I think he's there for it. So Barnsley are going to go up as champions. Now, second place is really, really difficult. Division 3 is really tight. You could go for about 10, 11 teams. There's not a lot to choose from. So then it breaks it down to, well, what do you factor in? You factor in ratings of players, you factor in the resources of the club and their ability to change halfway through the season. But another thing I factor in is the manager. Now, I know a lot of the managers and I know what they're capable of, and we all know what Noisy's about. Noisy's a competitor. I would back Noisy with a weaker team against others with a stronger team. So I'm going to go with Noisy with Millwall. He's got a solid team. It's not a wow team in Division 3. I think there are better teams than Millwall, but I'm going to go with Noisy for his ability. So I'm going Barnsley and Millwall's the top 2. And likewise for Noisy, I'll say the same for Richie at Blackburn. Blackburn narrowly avoided relegation. Actually, not narrowly, they comfortably pulled away in the end, but Richie inherited a mess. And look what he's done with them. He had them up in mid-table in the end. And again, Richie and Noisy, in my humble opinion, are 2 of the better managers on Soccer Manager. So I would definitely have Richie in the playoffs, in some 3rd to 6th, I don't know where, but I would have Richie in. Another team in the playoffs should be in the top 2 with the team they've got, the first 11, and the value they got, is Birmingham City. However, I don't think Thumbs is aggressive in terms of results. I think Thumbs is aggressive in terms of adding squad value and building clubs. But I think if you look beyond his first 11, there isn't a huge amount of depth. He has got the ability to change things throughout the season, and Thumbs will. Birmingham City's team will be constantly evolving. It'll be worth $1 billion by the end of the season. But I just think he will get to the playoffs, and yet again he will bottle it. I think then the other 2 places, I'm going for Plymouth under Andy Martin. He's just gone straight in and he's just got the highest rated players he could get. They're going to be pretty strong, Plymouth. And the other one I've noticed is Portsmouth. Narrowly stayed up, and I think Snakes had a game plan change. Portsmouth looked strong, check their team out. That means a few big ones are missing out. For me, Hull City and Sheffield Wednesday, big clubs, shouldn't be in Division 3 in my opinion, but they are. But I don't. Hull look good for the future, but I don't see them challenging that promotion. And even Gino at Sheffield Wednesday, I'm not really sure what the plan is at Sheffield Wednesday. I can't look at Sheffield Wednesday's team and tell you what the plan is, what they're doing. So for me, I see Wednesday kind of, I don't know, just outside the playoffs, maybe 8th, 9th, Hull maybe even lower. And these are two big clubs with lots of revenue. But there you go. Not everyone can make the top 6. Bolton are a team that I think are on the way down. Nick Otham probably won't even be watching this video. Nick got off to a flyer last year, but that was a result of the game wheel being fairly inactive. So if you had 10 or 11 high-rated players in an inactive game wheel, you're going to be top of the league or second. Look what happened as soon as the game wheel got stronger. Look what happened in Division 3 when suddenly you get the likes of Richie coming in and other good managers. A lot of teams struggled. A lot of teams started and they're questioning, I don't know why my second half of the season's gone downhill. I'll tell you why, because the managers got better and the game wheel became more competitive and active. There's no rocket science. So for me, Bolton are going to miss out, and I predict a lifetime of misery and darkness for Bolton in this game wheel. Charlton looks strong, an astute signing in Sissoko. I don't think Bogdan has enough depth at Charlton, but they are ticking along nicely. A solid team, definitely could make the playoffs and will be there or thereabouts. And then there's a few teams that in Division 3 that I don't really know about the promoted teams. I think Derry could probably be in the top 8, top 9. I think Martin Walters will have them up there, and I think Hamilton will be okay. The promoted teams are all quite high rated, to be honest. I don't know what Kev's doing at Bradford, if he's going to bring in a few oldies, because I think he needs to, otherwise he's going down. His team, Kev's another one, he was sailing along quite nicely, quite happily in mid-table, top of that David Garvett league last year, but again, there were no challenges, so it was an easy breezy lead, mosey along, I'll sign my little risers and my little youths, and no one will bother me. But bang, halfway through TFSL season 1, we're going to chuck in a load of good managers. Now let's see what you do. And suddenly teams like Bradford, like Bolton, start plummeting like a stone. Bradford nearly went down, and that's a fact. Sorry to upset anyone, I'm just calling it as I see it. Bradford will need to step up, and Kev knows this. There's a few other teams, I can't mention all of them again, but they're my top 6. Barnsley, Millwall, Birmingham, Blackburn, Plymouth, Portsmouth. Right, on to Division 2, and this is definitely the hardest, most competitive Division 2 to do, even harder than Division 3, because there's very little between a lot of the teams, and some of the teams that are better than others, I don't think their managers are as good as some of the others. So that's what I've had to weigh up. So Division 2 champions, I really don't know, but I've looked at Brighton's team and they are a powerhouse. They've got 92s and 91s. Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse would probably get Brighton in the top 6. I think David knows what he's doing. I think Brighton are going to go up as champions by virtue of the fact that they've got the strongest side. Stoke City have been predicted by a lot of people to go up. It depends. Depends how active Mark is. If Mark's on it, he can do well. But again, Mark is another manager that's constantly, the team's constantly evolving. And when you're doing that, you're adding value, but you're also messing around with the results a little bit. You take a few hits. Fums does it. I do it because you're trying to add value to the side. So you're juggling plates. You're spinning plates. You're trying to get promotion, but you know that you're trying to add value to the team. So as soon as TBs come up, you're selling a really good player who's in good form because you know you're going to get good money for him, and then maybe you're buying 1 or 2 lesser lights that are going to rise. So in the long term, you're increasing value, but you're constantly taking hits. Mark's one of these. Daniel Hughes at Swansea's one of these. Bums is one of these. I'm now one of these because I realise the long-term picture of a game world like this is it's all very well getting promotion with a high-rated team, but then what? Okay, you get investment, but then if the market dries up, what you're left with? You're left with a ton of old shit. So you really need to make sure you're getting in your good young players at any opportunity of marking you. So I'm going Brighton and Stoke for the top 2, and then there's so many teams to choose from here. I look at Crystal Palace, they're strong, but I don't see Richard sustaining a top 2 push. In fact, I think Palace might be lucky to get in the playoffs, but I'm going to put him in there just I think Norwich are doing unbelievably well under James. It doesn't get mentioned because he's the Game World owner. Is there a better scout than James in TFSL? For me, I would say Daniel Hughes, I would say James, I would say Gerard, I would say Michael Bowes, I would say Thumbs, I would say Nick Justice. I'm probably missing a few out. Johnny McKenna, Nick Dunks. Christ, it goes on and on. People that really know their stuff. But in terms of adding value and whatnot, I don't think there's anyone better than James. Him and Daniel Hughes are probably the top two in my opinion for adding value to the teams. So I think Norwich will be in the playoffs. Palace, I'm going with Swansea because I think there's better teams than Swansea, but I think Daniel has the ability to change it around. His value's really increasing, so I'm going to stick Swansea in there. I could be wrong on Swansea. And the other one I'm going for is Rangers because they've got such a big stadium. They were crap last season and Chris needs to improve, but I think they have bought strongly and they look a far stronger side. So I'm going to go with Norwich, Rangers, Palace, Swansea. That means missing out Bournemouth, who are going to be strong, but I just don't see Michael being aggressive enough results-wise. The one that I had to struggle to leave out is Reading under Cam because Cam tactically, actually Cam is a good scout, but tactically as well, Cam is a very good manager. All round, Cam is probably one of the best managers as an all-rounder. He's a winner. So he's put together a Reading team. They absolutely destroyed Division 3. It was a walk in the park. It was embarrassing. But in Division 2, there's just a few high-rated teams, but I would not be surprised if Reading got into the playoffs. There's better teams than Reading, and I think Reading will be there or thereabouts with Bournemouth just underneath. The likes of Leeds and Villa, West Brom, I don't see up there. I don't see them challenging. So that's Division 2. And then where does that leave us now? Oh, Southend as well. I think Glenn under Southend will be fine. He'll be top 10. On to Division 1. Man City, Liverpool, Man City, Liverpool, Man City, Liverpool. Does she love me? Does she not? It's one of them. Flip of the coin. I looked at the squads. There is, what is it between Man City and Liverpool? Go through the squads. 19 players, 90 or above, I think, for both of them. 7 players for each, 94 or above. Liverpool have Messi, Man City have Ronaldo. Take your pick, guys. They are two absolute powerhouses. They will be 1 and 2 in season 2. It depends which way the wind blows. There are many permutations. You could have an injury crisis, suspension. Maybe one team goes further in cups. This is a really tough one. Half an hour ago I had Liverpool, then I've changed my mind and gone Man City. I honestly don't know. What is at the back of my mind is that Phil is a little bit bruised. He's had a really good season, but he got a bit criticised and he came out storming. He's lost home and away and he lost in the cup to Johnny, and I think he will be so motivated. That being said, Johnny's got an unbelievable team and he's a very good tactician. So, flip of the coin. I've got Man City written down in first, but as I'm talking to you now, I just think Liverpool are going to be hungry. So I'm going to go Liverpool first, Man City second, and I think the title will go down to the final day of the season. It could even go down to goal difference. There you go. In third place, I'm going Spurs. Tom's built a bit of a powerhouse. I just feel Spurs are a little bit suspect at the back with not a massive depth after the first 11. Still pretty good to the rest of the game world, but when you compare to Man City and Liverpool, Spurs are a little bit short, in my opinion. It would take a lot of things to go Tom's way for Spurs to end up as champions. I see Spurs coming third. I see Man United coming fourth. Dan has been disappointing in TFSL on the pitch. Very good manager, but I don't know why he just wasn't on it. But he has bought, towards the back end of last season, some big hitters. Man United are strong. They have got the resources. They should be fighting Man City and Liverpool for top. They should be. I think United are going to go fourth. So we've got Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, Man U. That leaves Mick at Arsenal out. I just don't think Arsenal got enough about them. I wasn't convinced by Arsenal's form towards the end of last season. The defeat to Huddersfield seemed to do something to them, but I'm not even sure Mick's cut out for a really big club, if I'm being honest with you. I see Mick at more of a Division 3, Division 2 team building, and in Division 1, piss off. In Division 1, you cannot piss about. You've got to go in and you've got to get the very best you can. And I think Mick is all about adding value, running his team like he runs his family business. I don't see Mick challenging with Arsenal. So let's see. You know, Mick's called out a few people in the past. Let's see Mick respond on his panel shows now. But I think Arsenal are missing out on the top 4. Sorry, Mick. And I think Chelsea are missing out altogether. I don't really think Yusuf's been on it at all. I think he's a lucky boy to be managing a prestigious club in TFSL. And really, Yusuf should be looking at himself. Does he even want to be in TFSL? Chelsea's a huge club. They should be challenging. Chelsea, to me, reminded me of a Rich Tea Biscuit last year. You know, okay, dipping your tea, but they're not going to create any fireworks. Yusuf is managing Chelsea like the colour beige. Has he ever posted? Do we even know? Do any of you even know who the Chelsea manager is? Not good enough for a game world like this. Yusuf, you need to step up big time. For me, you're going to miss out on the top 6 because I think Huddersfield under Roche are going to overtake you. By the way, on the subject of Roche, I was shocked to hear about you, mate, and I really hope you're all right and pulling through. You know, there's 2 or 3 idiots in this game world that I don't like, but that said, it's still a nice community. There's still a good group of people, and I wouldn't wish harm or anything on anyone. And you know, when one of us is ill or not well, whatever, then you know, we do care. Over Christmas, I was thinking about Roche. You know, he's got a young family and all the rest of it, and really, it does put these things in perspective. This is just a game. It's a competitive game, and we're competitive beasts at times, and at times we can clash. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all doing our best. We've all got families, and that was a shocker. And I speak from experience because I lost somebody very, very close to me around this time of year a few years ago. So it was definitely quite upsetting. But so Roche, just get well soon and look after yourself, mate. And I think that's what I'll do. I'll wrap it up there. I don't want to talk about all the teams that are going to get relegated because I'm going to upset even more people than I usually upset. They're my predictions. That's it. You're welcome to come on, criticise, slate me, whatever you like. Right, bon voyage, adios, arrivederci, happy new year everyone. Cheers guys.